Tom Sizemore. I did read it, but just remind me, how was it he died? He had a brain aneurysm, didn't he, or something?
Had a stroke.
Yeah.
It was an aneurysm, yeah.
And so basically the doctors said that he was on life support, but there was just going to be, he wasn't going to make it. So the family had to make the decision to turn it off, didn't they?
It depends who you read. I mean, I've read over here, I think it was Sky, fucking idiots. He died in his sleep. No, he had a stroke.
I was going to say, if he was in a coma, then technically that's true.
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to the whole misinformation of 1984, doesn't it? They're not officially lying, but,
yeah,
reading
it's funny
between the lines.
I've got Google on my phone that I never usually use, but it's got like a Google News page, and sometimes I read through there, and it says, it gives a headline of something, and then I look at it, and it says like the Daily Mail. Yeah, I'll ignore that, because it's just like, what's the point? Because it's not going to be, none of it's going to be true,
No.
They've extrapolated information from 5% of the story for it. But yeah, Tom Sizemore. No, I mean, I had a look up of his films. How many films do you think he made according to IMDb? Or how many credits do you think he had his name? So not just movies, obviously TV as well. But how many do you think?
I don't know. I reckon
229.
Yeah, stop looking it up, you cheat. and technically you're wrong, because there's 29 up. There's 29 up and coming.
That's true. I did miss that.
But I mean, yeah, 230 odd credits to his name. And like I say, when I looked it up, I was thinking I can name maybe like 10, 12, at a push, but like 200, that's pretty good going.
Looking at his, I just want to say, looking at his IMDb credits for the last 3 years, like we interviewed Sybil Lake from Central Park Dark. She did that movie with Tom Sizemore, and she admitted, it was cheap. She only could take one take on a lot of things. She had him he's in it for quite a bit, but it's kind of I guess like a Fatal Attraction style type movie a little bit, where she has things go wrong, and it's obviously was made on the cheap, and it looks like he did a lot of this kind of stuff. And I'm wondering if it was similar to what Bruce Willis had to do at the end of his career. He is going to be in Cobra Kai next season.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But other than that, I mean, he's done some what do you call it? TV here and there too. But most of these movies they look like straight to video.
I was going to say, I want to say that I always kind of saw him as, and I mean this with all due respect, a bit of a second-rate actor. But then conversely, he's in things like Saving Private Ryan. And so when you get cast by Steven Spielberg to be in a movie like that, you do think to yourself, yeah, he's obviously not a second-rate actor. He's actually a very, very good actor, but maybe it's just his age.
I think he was a very good actor, but he also had a lot of demons off screen. I think that
he was on all the drugs, all the alcohol.
Yeah.
When he even admits, as I understand it, he says, when the alcohol didn't work, I turned to cocaine. When cocaine didn't work, I turned to heroin. And so, I mean, when you abuse yourself for as long as he did, and you got to admit, probably smoking and other stuff, it's no wonder his brain explodes at the end. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think this is one of those where it's like, because already I'm already saying, oh no, he had the jab. I'm like, I don't know. If the jab was the final thing, whatever. It's like, come on, you can't pump yourself up with that much shit for 20 years and I expect there to be some sort of consequence.
There was a guy. I was going to say, there's a guy over here.
He's a medical experiment gone wrong.
There was a guy over here called oh grief, hang on a minute. No, carry on talking. I got completely drawn a blank on his name a second.
Tom Sizemore's problem was the fact with all his alcohol and substance abuse, he wasn't English like Keith Richards and Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, that's right. I was just going to bring up Father Ted, who was played by a guy called Dermot Morgan, who was an Irish guy who basically smoked more cigarettes than you could possibly count and drank. And he only died at, it was like 60s, I think it was. But again, you pump yourself full of that stuff for long enough and it's going to do some damage in the end type of thing.
I think you get. I mean, you get Kate. I mean, Sarah's nan, my wife's nan. I think she was about 96, and she was drinking lager and smoking fags pretty much every day. So she had a good old run. I think it's just genetics, isn't it? I mean,
I think that cocaine and heroin is kind of a deal breaker on this.
Yeah, I don't think Sarah's mum was doing that.
Yeah, that's right. Alcohol, you're fine. Smoking, no trouble. Cocaine, ooh, no.
I'll tell you what, you get Sarah's nan on the dance floor. I'm sure she was probably doing a few lines in the old back toilets.
I'm pretty sure Sizemore was doing it all at the same time too. You know.
Yeah. Looking at his,
it's sad. He was a good actor. I liked him in Saving Private Ryan and Heat and some other stuff that he did. He had a good, he didn't look like a pretty boy. He was a character actor, and he played some good, interesting roles. And it's a shame he couldn't get away from all that.
I keep thinking he was in Reservoir Dogs, but he's not.
No.
Who
But
cut the cops? No, it's Michael Madsen I'm thinking of. Michael Madsen. Sorry.
Very similar ilk, them two, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But I was just looking up at some of his stuff. He was uncredited in Point Break as a DAA agent.
Right.
He was in things like Passenger 57, but then also like True Romance, Wyatt Earp, Natural Born Killers, Strange Days. Heat, obviously, The Relic, which is one of those films I fondly remember being quite entertaining. Enemy of the State, he was uncredited. And then, like I say, there's a lot of bits and pieces where he's in, where you're looking at it and sort of going, yeah, we just needed a paycheck for that, obviously.
Why did The Intruder?
He had great screen presence. It's just a shame he had so many demons, because he really could have been one of the greats. He could have been a real. He could have been someone really special. But there you go.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah. So I'm looking up sort of like more of the modern stuff, and there's a load of stuff here I've never heard of, which is most unusual. But yeah, it's a shame to see, unfortunately, poor Tom Sizemore passing away. So
he's gone.
Yeah. R.I.P. Tom Sizemore, and thoughts, prayers, family, blah blah blah.
Thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.